with only one set of underwear. I'd had this conversation with Oz, my parole officer / jailer / guardian angel, earlier in the week, and he had finally relented and booked us on the next available shopping trip. Other than we had an allotted number of items, I wasn't entirely sure how the whole ghost shopping worked. When I'd asked Oz about it, he'd been tight-lipped. I think the Bureau of Ghostly Affairs somehow switched the store cameras onto some sort of loop, so when the security guards came in the next morning, they didn't find a video full of clothes flying around the place. As for the stock we were allowed to take, I figured the Bureau assumed the stores would simply write it off as theft. Unless the GBs fiddled with the stock levels somehow. I didn't know. I didn't care, as long as I got to shop. "Bridget!" Lucy waved her arms around, trying to get our attention, and nearly karate-chopped a GB. Oblivious, she twirled and held her hands out to the side. The hot pink bodycon dress she wore reached all the way down to the middle of her shins. It had a low crew neck and cap sleeves. She'd finally had the massive hair extensions removed, so her blunt, dark bob suited the dress. "Looks amazing on you," I said, giving her 2 thumbs up. Lucy was another of my housemates. She'd died in her mid-20s like me, but she'd been super athletic, unlike me, so pretty much everything looked good on her. Lucy grinned. She spun back around and disappeared into the crowd of 30 or so women buzzing all over the fitting rooms, all of whom had armfuls of clothes and were in varying states of undress, as if the GBs and male parole officers were of no concern to them. I was pretty sure they were all as limited as me in regards the number of items they could have, but you wouldn't have known it, the way they were loaded up. In the middle of the melee, Pam was zipping up a lilac sundress on someone I didn't recognise. Pam was another housemate. I had 5 in total. 6 if you counted Oz. Anna, my ex-adjustment companion, now housemate, smoothed the wrinkles out of a black polo-neck jersey dress that hugged her Barbie-esque proportions as she stood on the outskirts of the crowd. Her blonde hair hung like a curtain as she bent forward, which I was pretty sure was a calculated move to get some male attention. A couple of nearby GBs were covertly watching her, until they realised Oz was not so covertly watching them. Katie, half hidden behind a selection of scarves a good anti-social distance away, scowled at the whole fitting room of fun. She was our other new housemate. Katie had once attempted to strangle Petal, but it had been decided, by whoever decided these things, when she was released from a mental asylum after being exonerated of killing a bunch of people, she should return back home. She'd been living with us for 3 days and still hadn't spoken, even when asked a direct question. It was super weird and super creepy. "I didn't think you were going to make it down here," Oz called to me from his perch on the cash desk. His shorts, t-shirt and flip-flop combo gave the impression he was an oh-so-relaxed surfer dude, but I was pretty sure he'd not slept in the 3 days since Katie moved back in. Of course, I was sleeping with Lucy, Pam and Petal squished up in my bed, with a chair shoved under the door handle, so no one could sneak in and murder us in our beds. So it wasn't like I could judge. "I was making sure I had the right items," I called back, smiling happily at the cluster of designer bags strewn around him. He'd let me visit the cosmetic department and the shoe department. I'd wrapped up my stolen items like the sales assistants did, because I liked the feel of carrying all the posh bags around with me. It made me feel like I'd had a productive shopping trip. I had no clue why people stole things. They missed the best part. Finding things with elastic